Shalom, shalom. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, giving our praises to my Heavenly Father. His name is Yahweh, by Yeshim, Yahweh Shai, by Yeshim, Makar Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of New York and Connecticut. Peace, many salutations to you, Yaki, on this toiling and this truth. Just wanted to come with a quick sit down. It's like I had to handle some dishes I forgot about real quickly. Um, that's why I ended the live show prematurely earlier. But I wanted to do a sit down on why does uh, Iran want nuclear plants, and also just give an update on the war. There's just various topics that's coming out, well I should say rumors that's coming out, saying that Trump is saying that there is a ceasefire uh, that was agreed upon from Iran and Israel. And then we have conflicting um, news coming out saying that that's not true. Um, you know, and there's still attacks going on between the two parties. Um, and so things are getting very interesting. But I wanted to just dive into why Iran you know uh, wants nuclear power plants. It's vastly different from what we've heard here in the West. Um, you know, Iran is basically trying to diversify their energy. Um, Iran has huge reserves of oil. Um, they actually, they were in league with America in like the 1950s, but that came to an end, and they ended up privatizing their oil reserves. And so, America, was always, trying to find ways to, get into that regime. And they actually set up a coup in the 1970s, and had a puppet leader in Iran. They're trying to westernize the area, and that caused a great rebellion. You know what I'm saying? And this is nothing but neo-colonialism. America wants to change the regime so they can control not only the natural resources, but they can slow down uh, Magog's Russia's influence in that area. Okay, so I asked Copilot. I asked why is our it should say why does, but it say why is. Why does Iran want nuclear plants exclude the biasness of the West? And I spelled that terribly wrong. It says Iran's pursuit of nuclear energy is rooted in a mix of historical, strategic, and economic motivations, many of which predate the current political tensions. Energy diversification and independence. Iran has long argued that its nuclear program is aimed at generating electricity to reduce its reliance on fossil fuel, especially oil and gas, which are major export commodities. So they don't want to you know continue exporting the oil, and also have to depend on oil and gas for energy. You know what I'm saying? Case in point, here in the U.S. and like the Northeast, instead of using electricity during um, winter, they use gas. You know what I'm saying? That's an energy source. So Iran, they export a significant amount of gas and oil. You dig? And they don't want to use up their product basically. So they want alternative energy. Okay. All right. And again, this is that oil is really what America wants to control. Okay. They want to control that oil. All right. And you have uh, Iran that's able to survive these various sanctions that America has placed on it with the strength of uh, its commodities, that oil, right? To be able to buy and sell that oil, it's still able to sustain itself, okay? And America, with the strength of the American dollar, right, and also shoot with the beast NATO and EU, it's essentially over globalization. Now, what is globalization? You know what I'm saying? This is something that we could use to kind of cut this guy, Chief Ephraim. You know what I'm saying? Globalization is basically buying and selling on the international level. Okay, this is how we know that it's not going to be just a so-called white man that issues the mark of the beast. Although he'll be spearheading it because he's currently over, you know, globalization, right? Right. Um, but all these various nations are in cahoots with him. You gotta remember when this place goes down, it says in Revelation, the 18th chapter, that the other nations are going to mourn. Why is that? Because of globalization. Okay, so let's grab this. Globalization, the process by which businesses or other organizations develop international influence or start operating on an international scale. Now, who's spearheading globalization? The Western cultures. Who are over the Western cultures? Esau, Edom. Okay, so when this place goes down, again, all these other nations are going to be mourning. Why is that? Because they do business with this place, man. All right, so when a new economy is ushered in, you don't think these various other countries are going to be down with it, right? And the next war is going to be the fight over who's going to control uh, AI, essentially, right? The fourth industrial revolution. You know, what we talk about often when they usher in basically, AI, right? And with the integration of AI biometrics, it's going to be very biometrics is being able to measure someone based off of their anatomy. All right, that's where the C hip is going to come in Revelation, the 13th chapter, man. Right, but we see the influence of America, in a beast system on an international level, and they're able to, you know, uh, either amalgamate you in to their business, to their economy, or ostracize you. And this is what they have been trying to do with Iran. Okay, but Iran, is resilient, you know, and they had a very important commodity like oil, and they want to diversify their energy. They don't want to just depend on oil. That's why they are creating uh, nuclear power plants. Okay, let me get this for y'all real quick because it's just beaming in my head like I gotta pull this. Just to illustrate globalization in the scriptures. Okay, Revelation the 18th chapter. Okay, Revelation the 18th chapter. All right, Revelation 18 and I started one. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was enlightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the Great is falling. And Babylon the Great is where? It's here. America is Babylon the Great, right? The virgin daughter of Babylon, right, which is ran by Edomites. Okay, you can read about this in what's that, Psalms 137 and 7. Okay, Babylon the Great is falling, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunken the wine of the wrath of her fornication. What is that? What is the wrath of her? What is that wine? That wine goes into what? There's a philosophy of this place, the hegemony of this place. We use that word a lot. You know what I'm saying? That really on the cool, the elder Ariala put us on game on that word, right? Hegemony.
Hegemony.
That word hegemony basically means leadership or dominance, especially by one country or social group over others. Now, who's exhibiting this? Okay, Esau, Edom, and you can see that economically speaking with globalization. So this man is able to rule the people, majority of the people, right? Dictate their culture, dictate their economy. Okay, all these various nations have drunken after that philosophy, that way, right? Which is embodied in globalization. Okay, all right. A lot of these nations have drunken after the ways of this place is going to eventually come again it because it's going to be found bitter. That wine is going to be found bitter in the stomach of many nations. Okay, he says, and he cried mildly with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is falling, and is become the habitation of devils, in the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Now, how are these merchants waxed rich with through the abundance of her delicacies? Well, America is consuming um, empire. We import a lot of goods in these various nations and export a lot of goods. That's why you can have a situation with China and America, when it comes to geopolitics, you know, they're at odds with one another, but they still have a very intimate, interdependent relationship. America needs the goods, and China needs someone to sell the goods, man. Okay, that's why all these trade wars and things of that nature go on. You got Trump talking big, but when it came to China, what did he do? And he back down. Why is that? Because China is getting richer. They got rich off of the delicacies of America, man. Okay, this is globalization, brothers. This is what uh, America is able to control international economics. Okay, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of sins, and that ye receive not her plagues. For her sins are reached unto heaven, and God and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works, in the cup which she has fill her double." So here it is, she's showing that the Most High is going to remember the iniquities of this place. No matter how much Trump says he's going to make it great again, and he's talking all this crap, talking big. You got the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, Hegseth, talking big, man. Last night I was watching the news. He was talking about Iran. He was just bragging and boasting. Bro, according to prophecy, we know that pride is gonna be brought low. They don't. This place doesn't think that it's gonna be destroyed. All right, but the Most High is gonna put this spirit on these various nations to come against this place, and we know, prophetically speaking, Iran is a player, alluding to what Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Okay, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works. And the cup which she hath filled to her double. How much she has glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her, for she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh power who judgeth her. So the Most High is going to send fire on this place, send judgment on this place, famine on this place. This place is going to be uh, judged very, very harshly for all the wickedness that is done, man. A lot of people in here are going to be judged too, because pride is at an all time high at this place, man. A lot of people gonna get their fucking asses kicked. Okay, all right. Verse 9. And the kings, check this out. This is the point. And the kings of the earth who had committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall beware her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, the great city Babylon, that mighty city. For in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. You see that? So nobody's gonna buy the merchandise anymore. Who's China? These Asian countries, they're not gonna buy. Nobody's gonna be able to buy this place, their merchandise anymore, man. This place, these other countries heavily depend on uh, globalization on America's consumerism. So when this place falls, you know what I'm saying? These people are going to lament, right? Why is that? What is all this illustrating? It's showing the hegemony. Remember that word hegemony, what it means: leadership or dominance, especially by one culture, country, or social group over others. Right? It's showing its preeminence. It's the rule, the sovereignty of who? Babylon the Great. That's ruled by Esau Edom. You so-called white people, man. Okay. And with that power, you're able to ostracize those that you deem as a threat. This is what they've been doing to Iran. This is why Iran has been developing uh, nuclear power plants or um, enriching uranium. You know what I'm saying? You know. Back to the point one. Energy diversification and independence. Iran has long argued that its nuclear program is aimed at generating electricity to reduce its reliance on fossil fuel, especially oil and gas, which are major export commodities. By using nuclear power domestically, Iran can free up more hydro carbons for exports and future generations. Medical and scientific development. Iran also maintains that it uses nuclear technology for peaceful purposes like cancer treatment, medical iso, is, isotopes, probably saying that wrong, and scientific research. The Tehran research reactor, for example, has been used to produce medical isotopes since the 1960s. National pride in technological advancement. Developing nuclear technology is seen by many in Iran as a symbol of scientific progress and national sovereignty. It's a way to assert independence and resist foreign pressure, especially after decades of sanctions and international scrutiny. You see that? Just a way for them to get away from the grip of of America. America basically runs again the world. economy. Okay, what does this remind you of? What precept? Ezekiel 28. All right, Ezekiel 28. Let's start at 1. The word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus said Yahweh power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am God, I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not a God. Uh, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Now, um, we know that that's the midst of the seas. That's talking about the people, right? Go to what is it? Revelation, 7th chapter. All right, I ain't planning on getting this, but if I can't get it, I'm gonna move on. How about this? I'm gonna swallow my pride. Jeez. All right. I'm gonna move on, but I know it's in Revelation. Excuse me. I believe it's Revelation, the 17th chapter. Here we go. Man, that's the spirit of Yahweh. The water, Lord. Revelation 17:15. He said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the whore sitteth, who is whore that Babylon the Great, are peoples and multitude and nations and tongues. You see that? So, just like even with Tyre, they sit that sit on the seas of the people, right? With its great commerce, so does Babylon the Great. Okay, now people will make the argument, oh, this is Tyre. This is talking about Tyre. This ain't talking about the European nations. Well, I had this for you guys, man. This is a rebuttal to that. Okay, this is a rebuttal to that. The Tyre, birthplace of Europe. This is according to RomanPost.org. Brought this out. I'm bringing it out again to, what I'm saying. It says, according to the Greek mythology, Europe daughter is really Europa, daughter of a Phoenician king, was born in Tyre in Lebanon. She was abducted to uh, to Crete by the undergod Zeus, who had made he was an undergod who had taken form of a bull. She became the first queen of Tyre. Later on the continent, Europe, and her name is Europa, not Europe, was named after her. Okay, so Europe was named after Europa, not Europe, but it's Europa, which is in Greek mythology was a daughter of a Phoenician king. Okay, that was later taken by Zeus, which Zeus is you know, a Greek god, and uh, uh, and taken by him, and later, you know, uh, that uh, that name was used to depict Europe. Okay, all right. So we could match this up. Spiritually speaking. If you have eyes to see. All right, this is just one way in which you could cut. These guys saying that there's no correlation. There is a correlation, and also this is exactly what Esau Edom is doing now. He's ruling the world with his economy. Okay, all right, all right. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. With thine wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten the riches, and hast gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. But thy great wisdom, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, has thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up by because of thy riches. Right? And what is traffic? What is it talking about? It's talking about the buying and selling of products, right? When you think of traffic, what do you think about? Just being on the road, being stuck. Well, it's more than that. You know what I'm saying? It's, what's on the road when you're stuck in the road. You know what I'm saying? You got trucks, you got dump trucks, you got people going to conduct business. And those trucks, what are in those trucks? Products to be sold. Not only that, but you got to think, okay, well, what if traffic happened because of a train coming by? The railroad is closed. But what's on those trains? Products. Okay, all this infrastructure that you see around you, and globally speaking, you know what I'm saying, has in some shape or form been influenced by Esau Edom. Okay, chiefly where Babylon the Great, man. Okay, so it's able to do what? It's able to control traffic, control the economy, and has become very rich. America has become very rich because of it. Okay, this is why Iran is trying to get away from the grips of America. Okay, by making nuclear power plants. Okay, that's one avenue to increase their energy outlet. All right, okay, and America wants to you know stop that, and place a puppet regime in Iran to do what? To take control of over those oil reserves, man. Okay? Remember, this place, is increased by war. All right? This place, it has to be doing something wicked in order for it to be ran, in order for it to keep flourishing, much like the Assyrians, man. All right? And just like the Assyrians were taken down, guess what? This place is going to be taken down for all its wickedness. All right? Let me think about that. Which one am I thinking about? Yeah, I'm thinking about Nahum. Think about Nahum the third, Nahum 3, Nahum 2. Or is it 3? Let's see. Yeah, Nahum 3. Nahum 3 and 1. Woe to the bloody city, is full of lies and robbery. The prey departed not. The noise of the whip, and the noise of the rattling of the wheels, and the prancing horses, and of the jumping chariots. The horsemen lifted up both the bright sword and the glittering spear, and there is a multitude of slain, and a great number of carcasses, and there is none end of their corpse. They stumble upon the corpses. And this is talking about wolf. Now, this is talking about ancient weaponry, but you can liken to the weaponry that we see now with America. America spends billions of dollars on his weaponry, dog. Billions on tanks and guns and artillery, and all to do what? To stomp whoever comes against it. Okay, right? Whether it be military might or sanctions. Again, this is why Iran is trying to proliferate uranium production, or They're trying to increase nuclear power, right? So they can have alternative energy, man. Okay, because of the multitude of whoredoms of the world favorite harlot, the mistress of witchcrafts that settled nations through her whoredoms and families through her witchcrafts, right? Who is that world favorite harlot now? Well, we just read in Revelation is Babylon the Great, right? Selling the democracy to these people, right? And with the democracy comes a certain economy, okay? A certain economy brings forth what? A certain culture, right? So everybody's lying in bed with this hoe and getting the clap. Everybody's tired of this fucking place, okay? And just like a hoe, those who sustain from it, she got a problem with them. You know, she's such a narcissist that if you deny her, then you're a problem. You know that hoe that thought she was fine, and she came to you, and you was like, I'm good. She ain't gonna like you anymore because she has a mindset of, how dare you turn me down? Did you know how fine I am? Right? I'm gonna really mess your world up. Then give you, don't be at work with her. She gonna give you all types of attitude, throw salt in your game, trying to mess up what you got going on at work, even at home. If she gets too close, or she has a capability, all because of what? Because of her ego. And this is like America, okay? This is kind of like how America produces, okay? Right? So this place is going to be uh taken down like a horse taken down. All right. Behold, I am against thee, said Yahweh of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and I will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. And this could very well be the events that we need for this to happen. Now you have America bragging and boasting and talking big, like they're really, Iran is ready to quit already. This is gonna go down in history as a 12-day war. It should be deemed that this is what our Trump was saying. You know, and this has the ceasefire hasn't been confirmed by you know uh by who? By Iran. Okay. Let's go to the next topic. Okay, because we touched on why you know Iran is developing nuclear power. Okay, and we didn't read that fourth one, but we got the main things off of that particular um, article, if you will, from Copilot. Now, this is according to CBS News. It says Trump announces Israel and Iran has agreed to ceasefire. President Trump announced Monday that Israel and Iran has agreed on a complete and total ceasefire, a move he said would end a more than week-long conflict between the two countries. The ceasefire will start in about 6 hours, and after 12 hours, the war will be considered ended. Mr. Trump wrote on True Social, indicating that the ceasefire would begin at midnight Eastern Time. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire in upon the 12th hour. Israel will start the ceasefire in upon the 24th hour. And an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. The president said there has been no official word yet from Israel or Iran on a ceasefire. The terms of the apparent ceasefire are unclear. CBS News has reached out to the White House for more information. The conflict between Israel and Iran began June 13th, while with Israel launching air attacks against Iranian nuclear and military targets. And remember we just read about those nuclear plants. Okay, these strikes, which killed several top Iranian military officials, prompted Iranian counterattacks on Israel, and it just seems all over the place. Everything that unfolded. A day before these attacks, America was supposed to have a meeting with Iran to speak about a ceasefire. Well, not a ceasefire, but a nuclear deal, right? And then a day after, you have um, Iran attacking the guy that was spearheading the negotiation was killed. It was killed by the Israelis, and then you have now the involvement of America. So it seemed like they had this plan from the beginning, and then more and more, America is being seen as dishonorable and untrustworthy, bro. Okay, and shows you that this place is moving with it's a lot of arrogancy, bro. And this arrogancy is gonna be taken down by Yahweh Bashim Hawashai. Okay, now let's get this in First Thessalonians. Um, First Thessalonians 5 and 3. How about we read up? First Thessalonians 5 and 1. But the times and of the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahweh shall cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, this destruction cometh upon them as a travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief. We know that things are going to get very serious because of prophecy. And we know that Iran is going to be a huge player. Now, with these particular incidents that we see going on, would that be a catalyst? We're praying and we're hoping so. Could this be another rumor, war and rumor wars? Yes. But even if it dies down, it's still up for us because we know that Yahushua told us that things like this was going to happen. It's going to be wars and rumors of wars, right? Until things culminate to a hot war, okay? And seemingly, it doesn't seem like it's going to turn down, man. Okay, there's conflicted news about whether or not there's been an official ceasefire. So I listened to this cat right here. You know, he kind of weird with it. Jake ain't used to being around Edomite, so I get it. He kind of weird with it, but he gives good information, man. So bear with the look. You dig what I'm saying? And check out what he says, okay?
All right, guys, you ready for this?
Let me turn it up.
This is a trip, y'all. So Trump just said the following. Congratulations to everyone. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. First of all, he starts with congratulations to everyone like it's a little league softball game or something. This is fucking insane. All right, let me read the rest. In approximately 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their in-progress final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. Officially, Iran will start the ceasefire, and upon the 12th hour, Israel will start the ceasefire. Like, what does that even mean? So Iran's only allowed to attack for another 6 hours, but then Israel can attack for 6 hours after that? And upon the 24th hour, an official end to the 12-day war will be saluted by the world. During each ceasefire, the other side will remain peaceful and respectful. On the assumption that everything works as it should, which it will, I would like to congratulate both countries, Israel and Iran, on having the stamina, courage, and intelligence to end what should be called the 12-day war. This is a war This is a war that could have gone down for years and destroyed the entire Middle East, but it didn't and never will. God bless Israel, God bless Iran, God bless the Middle East, God bless the United States of America, and God bless the world. He said that twice. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. What the fuck are we talking about, bro? I'll let you go with your theory. You got any theories?
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like, let's take it at face value that this is actually happening and it's going to hold and whatever. That's the best case scenario. And what have you accomplished? Absolutely nothing. Civilians are dead. You did not destroy the nuclear program. You did not destroy their enriched uranium stockpiles. And now they have every incentive to actually pursue a nuclear weapon, something they were not doing in the past. So just like, even the best case scenario is still just utter and complete failure in all regards and horror show. And do you really think the Israelis are Bibi's just going to give up his ambition to continue some kind of a war with Iran? Not happening.
I got some good news for you guys. We might be getting the Epstein files on Trump.
I got this car recently, and look how
That's crazy.
If this is like, if he actually means this, right, and if it's real, we might actually get the Epstein files on Trump. They would release those shits in a heartbeat if they felt like, wait, no, we want a regime change. Seymour Hersh reported that they had already greenlit regime change.
So did Ken Klippenstein. So did Reuters, by the way.
So is it possible they greenlit it and now he's just like cold feet?
Yeah, it's also possible.
Y'all catch what he's saying? I think he's being a little facetious, but he was just like, there ain't no way that they just gonna stop abruptly and not get this guy out of here. I told Alatoma, I'm sorry if you say your name, the leader of Iran. No, they want a regime change, bro. Okay, we're not gonna just abruptly stop and everything's gonna be all good. You know, so he's saying, well, if that's the case, then this guy Trump must be dealing with the Epstein files. You know, that must be knocking at his door, which I think he's being facetious, but he's making a point that no, all things is full speed ahead. You know what I'm saying? The deep state, air quote, the deep state is nothing but the lobbyists, man. You know, lobbyists are people who fund, presidential candidates runs. Companies like Palatar, Tesla, you know what I'm saying? Apex, they all funded who? They all funded this guy Trump. So, you know, ain't no slowing down all of a sudden. You know, it's up with his involvement. You know what I'm saying? You know, things are escalating very quickly. It's not. I don't believe it's going to go back to normalcy or what normalcy what we call normalcy. You know what I'm saying? I think this is what he's trying to convey.
Possible that this is not real, that this is more theater.
That was my instinct first, is like, there's no way that this holds.
This could be another, like, okay.
It could be a ploy to try to get a Nobel Peace Prize. He was tweeting about, like, desperately wanting a Nobel Peace Prize the other day. I won't get a Nobel Peace Prize for this thing, or that thing, or that thing. Well, now, start an illegal war against a country that didn't attack you and wasn't building a nuke, and then you say, I got peace for that. Just like he said between India and Pakistan, he negotiated peace. Yeah. And both India and Pakistan came out and said, he had nothing to fucking do with any. Like, what's he talking about? That's not true.
Well, it could also be another, like, diplomacy ruse of, okay, now we're going to go back to the negotiating table and go through this whole process again, where then we can't come to a deal, so now we have to go back to bombing them.
Because that's what he did before.
Because the Iranians didn't really give him, their retaliation was clearly meant to de-escalate, telegraphed in advance, no casualties.
Right, yeah. Told Qatar.
Yeah, all of that. And so he didn't really have a pretext with that to escalate up the escalation ladder. So maybe this is like a way of providing the next pretext for why the bombing campaign must continue, because, oh, now they're really pursuing a weapon, or, oh, we tried the negotiations again and negotiations failed and Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So there's a lot more questions of what's going to play out here.
So to your point, they lured Qasem Soleimani to get murdered with fake diplomacy.
Mm-hmm.
He had a fake Gaza ceasefire. He had fake negotiations with Iran. This whole guys, they
that dude Qasem Soleimani, that's who I was alluding to, the commander who got killed. You know, and you had this was day before there was supposed to be negotiation about the nuclear power or nuclear deal in Iran. This was a day before America was supposed to have a meeting with Iran, and all of a sudden this guy gets killed. So America and its minion, the small hatters, man, they move very pompously, bro, very pompously, and the Mossad is gonna take them out for that. You know what I'm saying? For how he is conducting himself throughout the world, man, it's very, very arrogant, right? Very arrogant. He does these things. He's able to step on these people because he can. Okay. Psalms 10:1. Why standest thou far off, O Yahweh? Why hidest thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasts of his heart's desire and blesses the covetous, whom Yahweh abhorreth. The wicked through the pride of his countenance will not seek after the Most High, but in the Most High is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. The judgments are far above out of his sight, and as for his enemies, he puffers at them. I mean, she sneers at him like this little ass nigga right here. And dog, when you hear this dude, if y'all get a chance, bro, go and check out this cat right here, man. I gotta bring this out. I might do another sit down on this cat right here, man. This Edomite was, man. Yesterday when he was Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says U.S. obliterated Iranian nuclear site. I'm talking about yesterday. This dude was talking crazy. Big, bro. Big, brothers. Big. Crazy. Crazy. Right? He was puffing at this at Iran, man. Be sneering at him. Somebody who you consider lame, or somebody and your friends consider lame, walk in and you kind of like, this nigga right here. Look at this nigga. Oh yeah, this how ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? Oh, like that. I'm talking about really looking down on these on Iran like they was just these lames, man. He puffers at them because of his pride and because of his strength. But the Most High is going to take this guy down. Okay. Verse 6, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. This is the mindset of Esau Edom. He believes that he's able to do all this wickedness and get away with it. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. Right? Under his tongue is mischief and vanity, man. Right? Told that man, yeah, we're gonna reach an agreement. And tomorrow, man, I can't wait to see tomorrow, and end up killing that man. That's wicked as all get out. That's just some gangster stuff right there, man. And Israel and America has been conducting itself like complete thugs. Okay. And why is that? Because of that pride, man. That fucking pride, bro. Right? He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. And what is that net? those great swelling words, those nice words that he uses to encapsulate people, right? He crouches and humbleth himself that the poor may fall by the strong ones. And this, again, that's what happened, right? This guy said, yeah, man, we're going to finally, after 40 years of being ostracized and scrutinized by us, we're gonna sit at the round table, and we're gonna really try to work on uh, trying to come up with an agreement. And a day later, these commanders are killed. Right? He had said in his heart that Mosai had forgotten. He hideth his faith. He would never see it. So this guy's talking about, yeah, bless America, bless Israel. You know, you got those small hatters over there making songs about the fact that Iran was bombed. But you say any little thing about them, oh my goodness, they clutch their pearls, and they're just so hurt that you would bring up anything about them. And that's because they think that the Most High is dealing with them. The Most High forgot their iniquity, but He hasn't. Right? Arise, O Yahweh, O God, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. And really, ultimately, we are the humble, the Israelites, not those people over there. We don't have we don't we're not rooting for neither one of them. We're rooting for prophecy. We understand that these wars have to happen for what? For Yahweh Shai, who the word ignorantly caused Jesus to return. So when we see these things, we know that it's prophecy, right? We're not picking sides. We're not socialists, common, none of that shit. We're just waiting on the Lord. And we know these things have to happen. And we know that the pride of this place, Babylon the Great, is going to be brought down low by the Most High. Okay? Wherefore does the wicked condemn the Most High? He had said in his heart, thou would not require it, right? He believes that the Most High is dealing with him. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief in spite to requite it when with thine hand the poor commit himself unto thee, that thou art a helper unto the fatherless. Break down the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. That's right. The Most High is going to seek this man out. He's going to find him to be guilty, man, for all his wickedness and all his pompous arrogance. Okay, right?
They've been planning this since Trump first got into office. They've been planning to do this attack. So all the talk about, oh, we're going to negotiate, we're going to talk, that was all horseshit. It was all in bad faith on the part of the U.S. and the Israelis. They were planning the attack as they were pretending to negotiate.
All right, I got another thing for you.
Hit me.
According to CNN, Iranians are saying they have not received any ceasefire proposal, according to a senior official.
And see that? So the Iranians, according to CNN, was like, we haven't seen no proposal. Well, what is this guy talking about? What is this guy talking about, right? He's talking from a place of arrogance, right? Look at his prior actions. This proclaiming this is the golden era of America, right? We're claiming on his birthday that basically it's a birthday for America, which that turned out to be awful, right? They had the No King's Day. Okay, saying that he's going to make the Gulf of Mexico Gulf of America and Canada's next. He's guy been talking very arrogantly, and as things get progressively worse, that arrogancy is turning to lies. They're talking like a bully that's about to get beat up. Remember Ronda Rousey when she who did she fight? I bet you if I pull it up. If I can spell it in. Rosalie. Amanda Nunes. She was just talking big, talking big, talking big. And she ended up getting her ass beat the hell up. This is going to eventually happen in Babylon the Great. Now, if this particular scenario going to be what we see going on is going to be a catalyst today, I don't know. I'm just speaking as a man, just prophesying. But I do know, according to prophecy, you know, that it's supposed to happen. It's going to happen. Okay? It's going to happen. All right? Let's get to some scriptures. You know, uh, uh, Belshazzar's feast is after Nebuchadnezzar. Okay? Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords and drank wine before the thousands. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of the Most High, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and the princes and wives and his concubines drank in them. So they took our vessels and they began drinking in, and they was being arrogant. Right? This the same spirit that Babylon the Great is in, is just very speaking very arrogantly about, you know, about their position, you know, having parades and shit. You know, even our own people, man. You know, all hell is breaking loose. You got Jake with some fans and shit, stomping around and shit. You know, line dancing. You know what I'm saying? While all hell break loose. I heard this one female said that nothing's going to happen to this place because the aborigines, black, so-called black people are here. Is like that bullshit. You know. So everybody here is in a very arrogant spirit, man. You could tell. Everybody that's not of the hopeful elect, the brothers, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's speaking very arrogantly. Even various Israelite groups, man. You got IUIC this thugging out there, bro. Like, why are you running up on these church people for, man? If you got the truth, why are you so thirsty? You know what I'm saying? You know, putting the other Israelite camps in the figure fours, like, what the hell are you doing, man? But that just shows you, like, everybody's drunk off the pride of this place, Babylon the Great. It's gonna be taken down. The people are gonna be taken down very soon. Okay. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple, out of the house of the Most High, which were at Jerusalem, and the kings and the princes and wives and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the God of gold and of silver and of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone. In the same hour came forth figures of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loose. But man, pee on himself, and his knees smote one against another. So he was afraid. Okay, this is what's going to be happening to Babylon the Great, and who's going to be interpreting? Who's interpreting what's going on? The prophets, just like Daniel. You know, when the astrologers and things that nature didn't understand what was going on. What happened? They went and they called unto Daniel. Okay, I'm gonna jump down. This is what Daniel gonna tell them. Daniel 5:13. Then was Daniel uh, before brought before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry. I have seen I have even heard of thee. The spirit of the gods is in thee, that and that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not shew the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou couldst make interpretation and dissolve doubt. Now, if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. I'm gonna jump down. This is what Daniel's gonna tell this man. Okay, Daniel 5:24, and this is the spirit we're coming in. We're giving interpretation about everything's about that's about to transpire. You know, Esau Edom's in a prideful mindset. All these other people in a prideful mindset. But when all this shit break loose, a lot of people are gonna be running and trying to get the interpretation. And we're gonna tell them, hey, say this is what's gonna happen, man. This place is bound to drift down. It's bound to go under. Okay. Daniel 5:24. Then was the third part of the hand sent from him, and this writing was written. And this is the writing that was written. Many, techni up harsin. This is the interpretation of the thing. Many, the Most High has numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tickle, thou art weighted in the balance and are found wanting. Perez, the kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and the Persians. Wow. So the Medes took over the Babylonian Empire, right? The Medes will be a catalyst to this place being destroyed, alluding to what Ezekiel the 38th chapter. Okay. Russia, Gog and Magog will be a guard unto Persia, the Persians, which are who? The Iranians. All right. And this will be that unity will be a catalyst of this place falling. Now, again, with this, what we see going on, will this be the catalyst to that? Well, I don't know. Just simply prophesying as a man. It feels and it looks like, things are going to escalate, but we got to sit back and wait. Very exciting times that we're living in. Okay. That's all I got for you guys. Praise edifying. Shalom.